everybody. You're all very, very welcome to the Disruption in Professional Services panel discussion here this afternoon, at Career Zoo 2016. My name is Arlene O'Neill and I'm going to moderate this panel, but I'm delighted to be joined by 4 EY employees. So to my far left, we're joined by Frank O'Keefe, who is the Head of Assurance at EY. Then we have Eoin O'Reilly, who is a partner and head of EY's data analytics practice. You're very welcome. We've Julie next, then to my immediate left, who's a partner in fraud investigation, dispute services, and people at EY. People partner at EY. And then we have Sarah Connellan, who's our tax partner, people advisory services at EY. You're all very, very welcome.
Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you.
Firstly, to get us started, we'd love to hear a little bit more about EY and what are they doing within disruption for professional services. Frank, would you kick us off?
Sure, yeah. Hi, everybody. Frank O'Keefe is my name. Most people would know EY probably as one of the big 4 accountancy firms, not just in Ireland, but around the world. In Ireland, we have approximately 1,800 people across 6 offices. We're an all-island practice, 50 plus equity partners who own our business. But we're part of a global firm, which makes us really unique. Very different from the other 3 in the way we're structured, and we have about 230,000 people all around the world. So what's unique about EY, or why we're slightly different, Arlene, is that we work traditionally 4 service lines of audit and tax, advisory, advising big companies, and also corporate finance. But what we really do now is work as one team across all of our service lines, really focusing on our people, on our clients, and on innovation and disruption. And there's no meeting I have in EY now with anybody from our newest members of staff right through to our managing partner where we're not really thinking about clients, people, innovation, and disruption.
Wonderful.
That's hopefully a bit of a summary about who we are.
Great. Thank you for setting the scene there, Frank. I wonder, would each of you like to comment around your particular areas of expertise? How is disruption changing, and how are EY engaging in that change, embracing it, and even pioneering it? Could you kick us off, please?
Yeah, no problem, Arlene. So Eoin O'Reilly is my name. As Arlene said, I lead our analytics practice, and I have a really fun job actually in EY. I get to work across all of our service lines, everything from audit.
Too much fun.
Too much fun, yeah. Not enough
Your
fun.
boss is your own.
But I mean, I really get to sit at the coalface of that disruption and think about how we're going to change very traditional things we do, like the audit of financial statements, and try and disrupt that using analytics, right? So what does that mean? I often think we do very simple things in EY. We go to our clients, they ask us to do a piece of work, we get data, we analyze that data, and we conclude on it. And how we're able to bring technology to that and disrupt how we traditionally have done those types of things is really, really interesting. And it's providing, not just huge excitement within our practice, with the new skill sets people are being exposed to and new capabilities, but it's also great excitement for our clients. They're starting to see us attack problems in very, very different ways. And the reason we've been growing so strongly is because they really like that. They really like what we're doing, they really like our culture, they really like how we're pushing this in that direction.
Change is not always just embraced, right? So I can imagine there's a resistance at some point, but you're offering enough assurance to get them over that initial hurdle, and then they're seeing the results, which is hugely exciting within the data analytics.
Yeah, it is. And I think, what's really interesting is that an awful lot of our clients are also going on that journey, right? So whether it's a bank, whether it's an insurance company, whether it's a consumer products company, all of them are also trying to embrace technology more and embrace the disruption agenda. And what's great for us is that we're disrupting ourselves, right? So when we go out and talk to those clients, we want to advise those clients, we've kind of done it ourselves, right? And we've been through that journey ourselves, and that's a huge kind of advantage for us, that we actually have felt the change ourselves and have gone through the hurdles and the bumps along the way, and our clients really embrace with that. They really understand that.
Wonderful. Sarah, you might tell us within your own area, within tax and people advisory, how is disruption changing how you do things?
Absolutely, Arlene. So you take a typical tax practice and you think about tax returns, you think about the boring type stuff, manual information and work that you need to do to get to a tax return stage. I think like Eoin, we're disrupting ourselves internally and using an awful lot of technology to get to a stage that we can support our clients. I suspect in 2 years' time we won't do tax returns. They will all be done by technology. An example, our colleagues in the US have literally bought 40 robots who are doing all the sales tax returns in the US, which typically would have taken hundreds of people to do in the past. So from our own perspective internally, we're adapting to that change. We're not necessarily all tax qualified. We're not all accountants. We have a lot of psychologists on the team. We have researchers, we have scientists, we have engineers. So we're from all backgrounds now, and the reason for that is changing environment, changing the solutions and the services that we bring to our clients internally, and then what we can bring to our clients separately.
Wonderful, thank you. And Julie, you might wrap us up then in your own area, which is in fraud investigation. Oh, excuse me, or
No,
dispute
I can
services.
talk about anything.
Both, excuse
You
me.
know me, I'll talk about anything. So again, I guess the way we do our fraud investigations, again, is exactly what Sarah and Eoin and Frank have been talking about, is looking at how do you get hold of the data, how do you process the data, how do you analyse the data, and how do you think if this particular allegation has actually happened, how would that manifest itself in the information? And then you go back in and you use techniques, and it's not all about analysing structured data necessarily. You might go into people's emails, into the free text fields in ERP systems, looking for common patterns, common dates. We might do an investigation where if someone alleges they've been somewhere, so what you would do is match their expense claims. What were they claiming that day? Look, they were claiming the toll for the M50 when we know they were in Galway for 3 days in a row. So there's lots of different ways you can look at that data to try and get to the heart of the issue in what is a really efficient and effective and quite interesting way for the client. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I think and what that means and across the whole of what everyone's been talking about is the impact that that's having on our people. And in preparing for today, I was thinking about how it's twofold. Because on one hand, we've got people who've been with us for a long time who are starting to learn new skill sets and are being exposed to people who think differently. And that really comes together with that diversity of thought and then creating the opportunity. And one of the key pillars we have at EY is around highest performing teams and how we create these teams to deliver the best to our clients. And the more diverse thinking and different skill sets that can come to those, the more effective the teams are. And so as we are starting to look at the different ways and the new ways we are doing what are often very, very traditional things, audit, tax, it's a fantastic place. And then that just creates more and more opportunity for people within our organisation. So it's a great place to work.
I think that's really well said, actually. And one of the huge attractions for us in EY as to why we're delighted to be here as a partner with CareerZoo is to really, make people aware that it's not just a firm of accountants. So when you're dealing with big data, when you're dealing with disruption, client solutions, we don't necessarily believe that it's just about the traditional accountant that's going to build our business and build our brand and offer those solutions to our people. It's really about, as Julia said, diversity and inclusiveness. It's people with different skill sets, different backgrounds, different experiences. And we're really hoping that we get to meet a lot of people here today who can actually be part of our journey and part of our continued success.
So to embrace and challenge all of this disruption going on, I guess you've had a lot of new hires and you've also had some internal upskilling and training to identify where the skill gaps were. So I'm sure that's been a very dynamic change for yourself and it's still evolving, but very, very interesting. I might ask you what's next, right? So if EY are pioneering this, you're clearly aware or you're very engaged in not just being a reactor but leading this. So in each of your areas, you might give me some insight and the audience some insight as to what's happening next.
Start with me?
Yeah, Julie. Thank you.
What we're starting to do is look at how can we use technology to help clients build continuous control environments around fraud and compliance and risk monitoring. So what, as I said earlier, what are the red flags? What would happen to your data and your information? What would be the patterns that would manifest Should there be an issue, a bribery and corruption issue? Should there be a competition issue? How would that, and helping them to then build programs and look at their data on a regular and a cost-effective basis, which is also very important to see, are there red flags in my system that mean I need to go out and enhance my compliance program, enhance my work to try and prevent some of these issues that could arise. So it's all about turning around the tradition and building it into the front end. Yeah.
Wonderful. Sarah?
In my own space then, people advisory services with a tax slant on it. So what I would have traditionally done was advise organisations and employers and how do they deploy people around the world in a tax efficient manner, and look at things like immigration, social security. What we're not doing is that real traditional type service anymore, because technology can actually do an awful lot of that. But because we have access to all the HR data, the expenses, the individual profiles, we're using that to support businesses in terms of their management information systems. How do they frame their talent agenda? How do they support learning and development in the organisation? So from a job that for typically me would have been tax driven, now I'm certainly in the more HR sphere, management information within an organisation, and supporting really cost effectiveness in a business and where their talent opportunities really are.
And Eoin, within data analytics practice?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably three things for me. The first one is how we truly disrupt almost everything we do, right? So how do we use, that sounds very ambitious, but how do we use data in every single service that we provide? Mm-hmm. Whether that's the audit of the future, whether it's tax compliance, whether it's a fraud investigation, we got to change our mindset, right? And we got to think very, very differently around how we approach problems. So that's the first thing. Second thing for me is where I would see disruption is, we as a business, it's not just going to be about services, right? So we have fantastic minds in the organization who come up with fantastic ways of solving our client problems. Mm-hmm. And more we're seeing an opportunity to bundle those as almost products that go alongside our services. Mm-hmm. And I think in 5 years' time that will go quite a distance actually. You'll see our organization offer a lot of those types of products. And then the last thing for me is, it's continuing on this transformation journey as a phenomenal place to work, right? So where we have this variety of skill sets that knit together to solve client problems. Yeah. And how, as Frank said, we transform from the perception that the brand is, heavily just accountants and, tax qualified people, to a place where we've got every skill set, every background that actually can really be ambitious about our client problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Frank, yeah.
I think what's next was the question.
Yes.
So it's a brilliant question, and I suppose we've just recently announced our results. We've a big announcement on Monday that our managing partner will be in the media about. But there's a number of things of what's next. Very complicated question. I'll try and answer it as quickly as possible. Across all of our businesses, or parts of our business, we work with government, we work with private enterprise, we work with the largest banks, the hospitals, life science companies, technology companies, all of the foreign direct investment companies. And the one thing that we're sure about is that digital and data is a revolution, not an evolution. Okay, so for a firm like ours to really be helping our clients with solutions and also attracting the best talent, we've got to think about our business in a very different way. So one thing that I'm really excited about is what I would call the digital audit of the future.
The digital
audit of the future.
Audit, excuse me.
So, we're known to be, I would say, one of the best audit firms in the world. But our clients deserve, and our people want, quicker, faster, better quality, with the ability to actually plug in now to our clients and really interpret their data and help them think through decisions, either in advisory or tax or corporate finance or audit, is actually the only way forward as far as we're concerned in EY. And it's not the people who are just in our business today, but it's also about how we upskill as a group of people in the business and how we bring in that talent to help us really upskill and get the knowledge we need to be able to support our clients. So that is the future, but I hope we get there fast, and I hope we get there better and quicker than anybody else.
Yeah, wonderful. So just on that point, what would attract people to EY? What's going on there in terms of, okay, you all have your various areas, but how would you get talent in, new hires, right? What has EY got to offer new hires and talented new hires?
Yeah.
Well, I might just start and then I'll pass the question over, because I'm really lucky to have three brilliant partners here who also look after different parts of our business. Okay, Sarah on reward. You might talk a little bit about reward. Julie on people, who leads our people agenda, and then Eoin, who leads our analytics group. But we've done an awful lot around attracting our brands to people in the market, from graduates and then to experienced hires. So it's really about how do we attract them. I suppose we're trying to come to events like Career Zoo. Online, I think we're very open, we're very transparent about how we operate, who we work with, how we work as a team of partners and a group of people. So what really matters to us in EY is the person. I believe we can upskill with the training programs and the learning and development programs we have. And we're very, very focused on making the people who work with us in our business to be the best that they can be themselves, but most importantly, to be the best that they can be. So for me, an awful lot of it is about attitude and about how they come to work every day in good form, with a smile on their face, wanting to be their best, wanting to work within the highest performing team that Julie has talked about, and to really try and fulfill their careers. One thing about EY that I think is also very unique is that, yes, we are a practice in Ireland of 1,800 people. We've just announced 270 additional jobs in June. We're in 6 offices, but we're a global business, and we work with our clients globally, and that means everybody in EY, if they want the opportunity, also has the opportunity to work globally.
And have
come back
global
and live
impact.
here, but work globally.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, wonderful. Do each of you have comments in relation to...
So maybe I'll just pick up on the reward piece that Frank mentioned. And I suppose, how do we disrupt ourselves in terms of, we accept that we're no longer a firm of only accountants and tax people. We have a broad variety and diverse skill set, people from different backgrounds. 50% of our business, our people, are under 30.
Yep.
So we recognised about 18 months ago that our reward package, the typical cash payment and a pension contribution, wasn't going to fit everybody. So I suppose, playing to my own skill set, I threw the whole lot up and came up with a package which isn't streamlined, but which probably fits in, allows people to have a flexible reward package. So our millennials like gym membership, maybe not the older people sitting here, we might be more inclined to, be fond of an employer pension contribution, for example.
Okay.
Flexibility is absolutely key.
Choice. People want choice.
People
these
want
days.
choice.
And they deserve
That's
choice,
it.
right?
Yeah,
And they deserve it. Yeah.
and not one size fits all. So we rolled out a package, a suite of offerings in January of this year, which we think will address the needs of most of our people, within flexibility and choice. We don't think it will be forever, so we will have to constantly change that reward framework. And that's the thing, we're open to change, we're open to supporting our people.
And then finally,
And I guess just building on what Sarah said and about the reward piece, one of the roles I have in EY is I'm the people partner for our assurance practice. And so I'm responsible for our people engagement. And that is something that is as important to us as our quality, as our operations. It's measured, and we measure it every year. And we create programs where people can build networks with their peers, so everyone knows, what issues, because problem shared is a problem halved so often, and people can be the architects of their own solutions if they have the right environment to do that. So we have peer networks, we have support for the people who are doing exams, we build in coaching programs. So, our third years are working with our first years, our managers are working with our third years who are now starting to manage people for the first time, in a very structured way. And so we're always talking to everyone around how can their environment be enhanced and how can they take charge of that and be responsible for that and deliver that back to themselves. again, in a very supportive environment. And so I think I've only ever worked for EY with 3 different countries for quite a long time now, and it is about the people and about the genuine interest that everyone does take in each other. I think really does make us stand out. So I think your first question was why EY.
Yeah.
That is why EY for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and Arlene, I'll just add one point to that. One thing, and this is about disrupting ourselves, one thing we realise in EY is that the biggest asset we have, the only true asset we have, is our people. And it's all about creating the leaders of the future. So when we talk to our graduates, we talk to them with the same amount of respect and in the same ways we talk together as partners, because these people will be the partners of our future. They will be the leaders, and effectively we're privileged now to be able to, at some stage, hopefully not too soon, to pass that baton to others in our business who will help grow and build our brand. So it's all about our asset, and that truly is our people. So everything Julie says, I would say, is absolutely
That just takes me on nicely to Entrepreneur of the Year, which is something that EY started and continue to support. What do you get out of that? Why do you engage with entrepreneurs? You might.
Well, I take on.
You take it.
Well, I
Just relax back.
So I think if you have an hour and a half, I'll happily tell you all about that.
Is Julie here? I don't know yet.
Yeah, I suppose we all as a team in EY are incredibly proud about our EY Entrepreneur of the Year program that's entering its 20th year now.
20th?
20th year
Wow.
now.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I suppose 450 entrepreneurs have come through our Entrepreneur of the Year program here in Ireland, from people like Dennis O'Brien to Anne Herity to many, many household names from all across the island of Ireland. Why we do it in EY is probably two key factors. One is that it gives us as a business the opportunity to really acclaim and promote Indigenous Ireland entrepreneurs that don't necessarily get the same voice as the big brands will get, or the big foreign direct investment multinationals will get. But some of the innovation and the creativity and the teams that they have in their businesses are truly world class. And we as a business really try and help promote them through our TV programs, but also build a community for the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is a pretty lonely place, so I'm told. Not necessarily saying I would be an entrepreneur by any means, but we've built that community where now 60% of them actually work together, and they've huge increases in their headcount numbers and in their job numbers. We don't take credit for that, but an awful lot of the entrepreneurs will say by being associated with our Entrepreneur of the Year program, it's given them the confidence to get out there and sell, build their businesses globally, and also attract people and talent into their businesses to help them grow. So that's probably one of the key items. The other thing that's really important to us as a business is that everybody in our business has the opportunity to interact with the entrepreneurs, either through the interview process. So our youngest people can go out and interview the entrepreneurs and really listen to their story, understand their journey.
Yeah. And very powerful experience engaging with the entrepreneurs.
It's like getting a master's, right, in how to do business from all of these phenomenal people.
101.
Yeah, and what we really try and do as a business then is collate all of that information and try and really understand from our entrepreneurial clients as well as our largest multinational clients, how do they go about business? What's on their horizon? What's next for them? How are they building their brands? How are they building their teams? And actually we take an awful lot from that. And we spend a lot of time in our business thinking through their disruption. Yeah. What are they doing with digital? What are they doing with disrupting their people agenda? What are they doing disrupting their
Very
rewards?
clever.
And then saying, do you know what? We in EY, we've got the confidence we can do this. And if we can make our worlds better for our people in EY on the back of learning from entrepreneurs, well, we're all winners.
Yeah. And I mean, just to add to that, I think it's not just the learning from the entrepreneurs, it's also the spirit of entrepreneurship in the firm. So everyone is encouraged, you know, all the people here are mini owners of their own businesses because they've built those businesses from scratch. And, you know, we're given the opportunity to do that. And that's a real culture of the firm, that entrepreneurship, it's not just about the program, it's exactly how we run our business and how we interact with each other.
I guess, it's no point in being theoretical about it if you don't fully understand it yourself and you can't embrace it and go with it. And as well, particularly around the topic of disruption, I think it's an interesting word, but obviously every sector has to embrace technology now, and that is the disruption, the main disruption coming in and interfering with things. But I it's been wonderful learning about EY and actually, how you guys have internally been disrupted, how you've embraced that, how you've used that to reinform how you go out and support and advise other companies. So I'd like to thank you very, very much for all of your
Arlene.
insights today.
Thank you, Arlene.
I wish you the very best of luck, and I look forward to continue to hear about EY pioneering the space of disruption for professional services. Thank you.
Thank you
Our
very
panel,
much.
ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Q&A? Are we
Yeah,
open
sure.
for Q&A?
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Is that,
happy to, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. You might, if we have a roving mic, or you might need to shout out loud, please.
Once Owen answers all the questions, I'm delighted.
Yeah. Oh, is it on? You might shout out. He's very interested in.
Sorry. There we go, that's better.
That's
Okay.
perfect.
There we go.
Paul Daniels,
Hi,
my
Paul.
name.
Paul,
You talk about disruption, and you talk about how it's affected you guys as an organization. I mean, disruption itself from the whole aspect is about culture, and it's about actually having to manage the places. I mean, Eoin mentioned there about taking data and radically changing it to actually make you guys a better company. And also, I think Julie mentioned something about throwing stuff in the air and trying to rejig everything. How do you manage the risk associated with that kind of radical change?
that's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I can start, and I know Frank will jump in after.
Why that bad?
So look, I mean, a lot of the things we've talked about is a different way of us approaching problems that we've been solving for years and been doing for years, right? And we've always had risk management around those, even though we've just done it in a very different way. So as we now go into a new era where we'll need new skill sets, where we've new ways of solving those problems, of course we need the same risk management around it, and we need the same QA around it, and all of those things. For me, actually, the biggest risk as we start to transform is how do our people go on that journey, right? So we've got Frank said we've 1,800 people in Ireland. Not every one of those has been skilled. They're all different generations. We've a lot under 30, as Sarah said, but not all of those have been born on the internet, and kind of been born in a digital age. So one of our biggest risks actually as we transition into new ways of doing things is what does the change management actually look like for all our people? How do we make sure that they come on that journey with us? And that's really challenging, right? But the way we're doing it as an organization is we're helping people really, really understand that this way of doing things is a better way, and it's new opportunities for them as well.
Yeah. I think Paul, I'll just answer another element of that because it's a really good question, and without getting too technical either. Look, we have a know-how, and we're very experienced about how we go about our business, especially interacting with our clients. And our audit business is a regulated business. So as you can imagine, throughout our services, we have methodologies. So we know that we've agreed our audit methodology with the regulator, very comfortable with that. But the disruption for us is how we go about our business within that methodology. So if I use the audit experience, traditionally auditors were auditing samples of transactions, looking for needles in haystacks, following the control environment. And that was all fine, and that's a tried and tested way, and it's been around for forever. But actually, if you take the audit environment now, within regulation and within the methodology, it's how you actually use holistic populations of data, and how when you have that source data, and you know what to do with it, you know how to interpret it, you can actually audit the holistic populations and come back to our clients and say, actually, here's the outliers. Rather than saying we've done statistical sampling and it all works, thank you very much. Actually, now the value to the business is, well, we've looked at your holistic populations, here are your outliers, and here's our advice on how you can deal with that or improve your business. So the methodologies are there, the know-how is there. What disruption is really doing, and digital and data for us, is adding that layer of quicker, faster, better, and then also making sure that we are the firm of choice to work with clients in the Irish market, from entrepreneurs right through to the largest businesses, because we can get that expertise to them faster, better, and quicker than anybody else. That's what we're really trying to achieve. Hopefully that answers your question.
We have a lady here at the front. Could you pass the mic, possibly? Sorry, thank you. Just in the blue top. Wonderful.
Hi. For me, it would be interesting. You talked a lot about technology. So, what is the biggest disruptor which is happening, and how does the professional services maybe look like in 5 years or 10 years' time, if I would imagine this? So, what's going to be the biggest disruptor, and how fast is this coming?
Back to you, Eoin.
I'll start again.
You're the tricky guy.
I think it's probably different things for different parts of our business, right? So if I take very traditional, tax compliance, probably the biggest disruption there is automation, right? It's going to be robotics and automation. That's going to affect our audit business. So that's one end of the spectrum. If then I move kind of more towards where we've higher levels of judgment need to be applied, right? We're not there yet, but things like artificial intelligence are going to disrupt that. I would say over a 5 to 10 year period. Maybe that's too far out. Maybe it's more 4 to 8 actually. That's another end. And then I suppose if we think then of our consulting and advisory business, where we're really out with clients solving very specific, custom type problems. Is technology going to disrupt that as much? Maybe not, but I think technology will be used to solve some of those problems a little bit differently. So we'll use analytics more when we're trying to diagnose that problem, understand that problem, find a solution to it. But I think it's right across the business, you're going to see different technologies drop in different places. And I mean, the only other one I'd mention is probably blockchain has potentially a phenomenal impact on our audit business, because if we've got this, kind of chains of a shared ledger and a chain of transactions that we can trust, how much audit activity do we need on top of that? And does it change the way we traditionally approach those? So hopefully that answers your question. It's a bit of a mix of things for different parts of the business.
Do you want to add anything to that? That's something I'd just like to add, if that's okay. I think it's a fantastic question, actually. And if I was to think about professional services in 5 or 10 years' time, we've talked a lot about technology, how that will be interfacing with our clients, how that will matter for our people. But actually, the thing that's going to be the most disruptive, I believe, will be our business model. And that really is around the people that we have, how our teams are made up, the skill sets that will be in the team. So if I look at our businesses right now, we bring in people at all different levels, with all different levels of experience, some with very little commercial experience, others with vast experience. And a lot of them are traditional in its nature around their experience or their skill sets or their qualifications. But now what we really have to think through, and the businesses who are going to invest the most in this, I believe, are going to be the biggest winners. And that's investing in different types of people, different backgrounds, different skill sets, different qualifications, and different experiences. So that model will be significantly disrupted in 5 to 10 years.
Good.
Just one thing on top. So, what are these skill sets? What do you think are the skills?
So I could give you, I have a list longer than my arm around what we think we know we need. So if I first of all talk about attitude and the attributes, I think we've touched on that earlier on. So the type of person is really, really important. Their attitude is really important. Their experience and their attitude to learning and their openness to learning and interacting, really important. But actually when we look at the skill sets themselves, and we're such an international business in Ireland. We have people from all over the world with all different backgrounds. Diversity, inclusiveness is massive for us, because 10 different people with 10 different experiences give a much better client experience than 10 of the same. But we're looking for people with computer science backgrounds, maths backgrounds, PhD, life science backgrounds. For our part of our health advisory business, where we're working with hospitals and government, health consultants. In our research and our R&D tax business, we're looking for scientists. We're looking for people with life science backgrounds. So actually, there's room for nearly everybody in EY with the right background, with the right attitude to come into different parts of our business. I think that's
right.
pretty fair. And we're not narrow on people's qualifications or current skill sets. What we're very open to is the experience that they can potentially bring to our people and our clients in EY, but also the experience we can give to the person coming into our business so that we can help them be the leaders of the future.
Just on that point, I might just include also, so that's currently how the model is working, that the degrees that people and the skills and the qualifications that people are being siloed with, you know, and perhaps falling into a particular category. But I think as education needs to be disrupted as well in terms of, so it's very important that EY go back and re-inform the education systems about how they must be much more blending between the STEM and the humanities and social sciences. And how, what does that look like? Because you clearly have already embraced that, you know, your teams are very diverse, but what about individuals with the range of diverse skills, you know, that may be applicable? So just it's an interesting point that I'd like to pick up on. So again, thank you all so much for attending. I'd like to thank Frank, Eoin, Sarah and Julie for a wonderfully insightful talk on disruption within professional services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.